At this point, there isn't an Avatar fan that hasn't heard of the White Lotus. But what about the Red Lotus? The Red Lotus is an anarchist organization in Legend of Korra, founded by Ji Bao, an ex-member of the White Lotus. Zahir explains to Korra that the Red Lotus was created to do what the White Lotus failed at, having the humans and spirits coexist and to usher in a new world order. You're watching Avatar Discussions, and this is everything we know about the Red Lotus. After the Order of the White Lotus came out of hiding following the end of the 100 Years' War to serve the Avatar and the world's nations, Ji Bao was disgusted, deeming the White Lotus as having reduced itself to merely the Avatar's bodyguards. In order to preserve the way how he believed the Order should have been, he broke away and founded the Red Lotus to help liberate the world from the nation's influence. Their original plan was to dismantle the nations and their leaders by releasing Vaatu from the Tree of Time, and later by killing the world leaders and ending Korra and the Avatar cycle, both of which, as we know, failed. The only Red Lotus members who were publicly revealed, as such, were all powerful and influential people in Korra's world. The former Chief Unalaq, the Truthseer Ai Wei, and a group of terrorists led by Zahir, consisting of Pili, Minghua, and Ghazan. Zahir and his group had all been imprisoned for 13 years after failing to kidnap 5-year-old Korra. But following harmonic convergences, Zahir gained the ability to airbend and was able to bust himself and the other members of the Red Lotus out of prison. The group of 4 was able to send the Earth Kingdom into chaos by killing their queen, but later failed at killing the Avatar. Zahir met Chief Unalaq after they had both joined the Red Lotus. They learned about Rava and Vaatu, the spirits of light and darkness, and how Avatar 1 had separated them, bringing imbalance to the world, which he, according to the Red Lotus, had only strengthened by dividing the physical and spiritual worlds. The Red Lotus subsequently devised a plan to kidnap the Avatar in order to reverse Wan's decision and teach her the ways of the Red Lotus, so that the Avatars going forward would no longer fight as the Avatars from the past. Zahir, Ghazan, Pili, and Minghua launched their plan to kidnap Korra a year after the news of her being the new Avatar was confirmed, but were unsuccessful due to the intervention of Tonrak, Tenzin, Chief Sokka, and Fire Lord Zuko. They were apprehended and detained in 4 maximum security prisons scattered throughout the globe. Unalaq, however, avoided being captured by fleeing before the rest were caught, and he went on to become chief of the Northern Water Tribe, never suspected of being with the Red Lotus, until Zahir tells Korra about the night of her almost kidnapping. To cover his back, he assisted Fire Lord Zuko in constructing a prison for Pili in the coldest part of the North Pole. As for the others, the Order of the White Lotus imprisoned Ghazan and Minghua in environments that would suppress their bending, while Zahir was held in a remote mountaintop, constructed entirely out of metal. The organization's lesser-known agents, such as Ai Wei, remained at large and continued their operations in secret, with the White Lotus successfully raising Korra. The Red Lotus shifted plans. Instead of trying to convince the Avatar to join them in her adulthood, they decided to capture and eventually kill her while she was in the Avatar state, putting an end to the reincarnation cycle and further establish anarchy. Chief Lin Beifong of Republic City spent the next 13 years interrogating each member of the Red Lotus in order to determine the gang's motives, but she was ultimately unsuccessful. Following their escape, they planned to take the Avatar. The 4 made their way to Republic City, where they hid under everybody's noses, planning their next move. When the time was right, Zahir shaved his head and infiltrated Air Temple Island under the disguise of Yoru in an attempt to determine Korra's whereabouts, though his apparent knowledge of air nomad culture and desire to meet the Avatar aroused suspicion from Kaya, who realized his true identity. After a very short battle, Zahir managed to take down Kaya and flee the island using a glider he had stolen from Tenzin's office. This caused a widespread hunt for Zahir. Zahir decided to delay in order to focus on determining a method to leave the city. To that end, the group ambushed a truck driver, whom Minghua threatened, to smuggle them all out of the city undetected. The truck driver attempted to drive out of the city via a bridge, though by the time they got there, the road had already been barricaded and every vehicle was being searched by the police. Anxious over the situation, the driver wavered while questioned by the officers, who forced him out of his vehicle as a result. The truck driver fled the scene and left the police to open the back of the truck, from where Zahir launched a surprise airbending blast, knocking the officers back and giving Minghua enough time to gain control of the wheel and begin driving out of the city. They then hid out and planned their attack on Zaofu to capture Korra. With the aid of Ai Wei, the Red Lotus was able to sneak into Zaofu under the cover of darkness, managing to capture the Avatar by knocking her and Naga out with sheer-shoe spit darts. Their escape did not go unnoticed, however, as Pabu alerted Bolin and Mako, who attacked the Red Lotus and drew attention to the group's presence. The 4 were soon surrounded by members of the Metal Clan, who used their metal bending to box them in between metal plates. However, Ghazan used his own skill to free themselves by creating a lava moat, forcing a stalemate between the 2 groups. Eventually, Bolin managed to block Police Chi, by striking her third eye with a pebble, while Lin and Suyin Beifong dropped in from above on cables and rescued Korra. Zahir attempted to recapture the Avatar, but was thwarted by Suyin, who pierced the wing of his glider with metal shards, forcing him to make a crash landing near the rest of his team. Realizing their attempt to kidnap Korra had failed, Zahir created an air dome to cover their escape. After their escape, they began their hunt for the Avatar once again. While fighting with Bolin and Mako, Minghua and Gazan captured the two, and brought them along on their way to Ba Sing Se. Inside the palace, the four gained an audience with Earth Queen Ho Ting by baiting her with information about the stolen Airbenders. Zahir managed to strike a deal with the Queen, information about the Airbenders in return for the Avatar, as the Avatar's imprisonment in the Earth Kingdom would lead to a world war. The Red Lotus was escorted to await Korra's arrival in the Earth Kingdom Royal Palace's antechamber. Noticing a Dai Li agent quickly pass by their chamber, Zahir followed him, sneaking into the throne room, where he overheard that the Queen's ship with Korra aboard had crashed in the Siwang Desert. Deciding to take matters into their own hands, the team barged into the throne room, resulting in a fight with the Dai Li. After quickly defeating the Earthbenders, Zahir confronted and suffocated the Queen with his airbending, killing her. As the Red Lotus leader stated that he had delivered Ba Sing Se back into the hands of the people, Gazan used his lava bending to bring down the wall separating the three rings, bringing forth chaos and disorder in the Earth Kingdom. Afterwards, Zahir went to the palace's prison, where he released all the inmates. Before freeing Mako and Bolin, he gave them a message to be delivered to Korra and promptly took an airship toward the Northern Air Temple. Arriving at the Northern Air Temple, Gazan, Minghua, and Zahir rounded up all the Airbenders, while police stayed aboard the airship to keep a lookout from above. They intended to use the new Air Nation as leverage to get to Korra. Though when Tenzin figured that out, he promptly attacked them, giving the Airbenders a chance to get away. While Police focused on the escapees, managing to shoot Kai out of the sky and corner the others at the Flying Bison stables, Zahir faced off against Tenzin, while Minghua took on Kaya, leaving Gazan to battle Bumi. Although Kaya and Bumi each managed to get some hits in, they eventually had to acknowledge the superiority of their opponents when they teamed up against them and managed to knock them off the balcony. Although Bumi managed to save themselves from plunging to death, they became the perfect target for Poli's combustion attack. Her attack missed, however, as Kaya convinced her brother to let them fall, effectively evading the blast at the last minute. Meanwhile, Zahir had trouble keeping up with the airbending master, who managed to evade all of his counterblows and land many of his own. However, the tables turned when Pali landed an attack, bringing Tenzin down within striking range of Minghua and Gazan. Although now it was 4 against 1, Tenzin refused to give up, stating he would never let the Red Lotus get to the Avatar as long as he was breathing, prompting the 3 members on the ground to relentlessly barrage him with their respective elements. After hearing Zahir's proposal from Mako and Bolin, Korra contacted Zahir over the radio from the Metal Clan's airship, explaining that she would surrender herself so long as Zahir freed the Airbenders. Zahir instructed Korra to meet him on top of Lahima's peak. Korra used her glider to meet Zahir, while Lin, Suyin, the Metal Clan guards, and Tonrak scaled the side of the mountain ready to ambush Zahir. Meanwhile, Bolin, Asami, and Mako were working to rescue the Airbenders while Zahir was distracted. However, Zahir had deceived Korra yet again. He had already moved all of the Airbenders save for Tenzin to a mountainside hideout, while Minghua used waterbending to make water dummies in airbender robes. When the deception was revealed, Gazan and Minghua left Mako, Bolin, Asami, and Tenzin to die as lava slowly destroyed the Northern Air Temple. Meanwhile, Korra, while chained with platinum cuffs, resisted Zahir as the Metal Clan engaged Pali. Tonrak assisted his daughter too, but was thrown from a cliff by Zahir. Lin subsequently acted as a distraction for Pali, as Suyin metal bent her chest plate around before she could fire, confining the explosion to her head and killing her. However, the death of Pali allowed Zahir to unlock the unique airbending ability to fly by letting go of his earthly tether, and escape the battle carrying Korra, who was unconscious. The Red Lotus took the Avatar to their mountainside hideout, where they planned to use mercury to poison Korra and force her into the Avatar state, after which they would kill her and end the reincarnation cycle of the Avatar forever. But when Korra entered the Avatar state, she was able to break free of her chains and engage Zahir in an aerial battle. Meanwhile, Team Avatar had discovered the hideout with the help of Kai, and freed the captured Airbenders before engaging the remaining members of the Red Lotus. Mako and Bolin fought Minghua and Gazan respectively, and after a short battle, Mako managed to electrocute Minghua with lightning before going back in to help his brother overwhelm Gazan. Refusing to be taken back to prison, the lava bender bent the cave down on himself in an effort to kill Mako and Bolin, but both brothers were able to escape. Meanwhile, Korra and Zahir battled in the sky above the Air Nomad caves, where the duel went in Zahir's favor due to Korra's inhibited abilities. After suffering several bad falls, as well as the continued effects of the poison, Korra collapsed on a nearby plateau, which allowed Zahir to apply the asphyxiation technique he had previously used to kill the Earth Queen. However, the freed Airbenders, under Janora's direction, created a large air spout under Zahir and Korra, which allowed Korra to force Zahir toward the ground and defeat him. Zahir was immediately restrained by the Beifong sisters. Jinora discovered that the poison was metallic in form, prompting Suyin to bend the poison out of Korra's body, saving her, just as it seemed like Korra had succumbed to the poison. The remaining Red Lotus leaders and sentries all returned to hiding after the deaths of Pali, Menghua, and Gazan, as well as Zahir's imprisonment, and remain at large with no way of knowing how many are out there. Moreover, after the death of the Earth Queen, the chaos Zahir brought to the Earth Kingdom still prevailed. President Reiko declared Red Lotus a terrorist group in the eyes of the United Republic of Nations as a result of their actions. For all we know, the Red Lotus could come back at any time to finish the job. The Red Lotus has been a huge interest point for Avatar fans ever since their introduction in The Legend of Korra, and there is still plenty unknown and lots to learn. Are Zahir and the Red Lotus your favorite antagonist? Or do you prefer somebody else? Let us know in the comments below, and we'd love to hear your opinions. Thanks for watching, and stay flamin'!